Okay, hi everyone. My name is Michael, and in today's video, I want to talk about something that affects many of us, and including myself, and this is rumination. So, if you often have painful thoughts about things that you did in the past and your brain kind of tends to dwell a lot on them, then please watch this video because I'm going to be sharing a couple of practical methods that you can use to try and ease this kind of mental pressure and to kind of help you deal with this and to get it out of your system. Okay, so if you've been dealing with rumination, with thinking about the past, especially during late at night, that's when it tends to happen a lot, please watch this video. Okay, I'm gonna quickly share four techniques that you can try. So I have some talking points over here on my laptop and I'm gonna be glancing a little at them while I speak, but this is just so I can be of most value to you. Okay, yeah, so I've had rumination described as driving a car but you're looking exclusively at the rear view mirror, so you automatically know you're gonna crash into something, as you're driving, and you don't really know where you're going. So living in the past is really painful, and it's definitely a habit that we should all want to break. So how do we break this? Number one, it's called breaking the physical loop. What do I mean by this? A lot of times when you start ruminating, especially when you're thinking about painful memories, your body physically reacts. Perhaps your chest starts to tighten. Perhaps you feel a sudden spike in anxiety, or maybe sometimes you let out like a sudden sigh, like, ugh. So when you kind of start noticing these physical symptoms happening in your body, try and break that loop immediately. Stand up, change rooms, go to the bathroom, splash some cold water on your face, try some breathing exercises, some deep breathing exercises. And one thing that I want to highlight at this point is something called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. So what happens is you think about 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So what this does is that it yanks your brain out of that mental space you're in and it focuses you on the present. And that is a great way to deal with anxiety and ruminating thoughts, by focusing on the present. That's kind of how meditation also works to some degree, because it takes you out of your head so much and it brings you into the present. So please do try that. Let me know if you have some success with that, okay? Next, the second thing you can try is shifting from thinking about why and start thinking about what. So this is what I mean. A lot of times these ruminating thoughts, they have us thinking questions like, why am I like this? Why did I do that in that particular situation, And these questions, they just cause us to blame ourselves, and they are not very productive or helpful because they kind of lead to dead ends. So we need to activate our brain's problem-solving mode. Instead of asking, why did I mess up in that social situation? You can try asking yourself, what did I learn from that situation that I can use next time? For example, maybe you said something stupid. So instead of saying, why did I do something like this? Or why am I like this? You can ask yourself, what kind of communication style do I want to practice in my conversations going forward? And this really works because I've tried it. In the past, I have had some instances of oversharing that I still think about it today. And I've kind of been adapting my communication style, whereby now I try to pause a lot during conversations, really think about what I'm going to say. Because when you just launch into the first thought that comes into your mind, it's not often the right thing to say, And also speaking slower and just thinking a lot in between conversations. It's not very intuitive, but the more you practice it, the better you get at this, okay? So shift from why on to what, okay? Do try that and let me know. Okay, let's look at a third one. I want to be a bit brief. That's why I need these talking points, okay? Yeah, just to help me be concise. Number three, you probably already do know of this because it's a popular method, and that is to schedule a worry window. So, this is a daily practice you can start of setting a time during the day where you give your brain free rein to think and obsess over all the things that it wants to, okay? You can journal during this time, you can obsess all you want, you can cry, if it's necessary, you can. Just let your brain go ham. Think, obsess, hyperverse, ruminate. 10 to 15 minutes is enough. Now, once that window is done, you're done for the day as well. Like, you don't allow any more of those thoughts to come. You don't allow yourself to dwell on those thoughts because they can't pop up in your brain. Not much you can do about that. But don't dwell on it. Remind yourself, not right now. I'll deal with that at the scheduled time. I'll deal with that at the set time. And this works for other negative thought patterns other than rumination. Because, for example, I find myself sometimes late at night not only ruminating or not ruminating, but focusing on future plans, like your brain isn't calming down. It keeps chugging along. You start thinking about all the things you want to do, how you're going to do them, the plans, the strategies, etc. Okay? You can also set aside a time to do this and to handle that mental work. So when those thoughts come, you know that there's a time to dwell on this, and that time is not now. Once again, it does take practice, but believe me, it does work. Okay? Yeah. So let's go on to number 4, filing the memories away. Now, here's the thing about ruminating thoughts. Often, our brain treats them as unfinished business, unfinished tasks. Because, for example, if it was a social situation where you did or said something you regret, you often didn't get a chance to correct. So in your brain, that's kind of like unfinished business. Yeah. So what you can kind of do to save and close that particular affair is you can take a piece of paper, write down exactly what happened, write down the obsessive thought, as much detail as you want, okay? And then here's the thing. You should also write down the lesson that you learned and perhaps something that you want to do going forward. After that, you can physically throw away that piece of paper. You can set it on fire. If it's a document on your laptop, iPad, or phone, you can delete it. Now, this is a symbolic way to give your brain something like closure, okay? Yeah, that thing, that task, it is finished. Now, I kind of did this once with a relationship of mine that ended. And yeah, it felt cathartic. At the very least. I'm not saying I never thought about it anymore, but it definitely helped me get some sense of closure. Yeah, so do try this one out. I've tried it before in the past, and at the very least, it made me feel much better. Yeah, okay. File the memory away. Now, those are 4 strategies, but I also want to talk about redefining the mistake. And I have some examples here, okay, of some mistakes, some general mistakes, and new ways we can think about it. Instead of saying, that mistake defines who I am, try and think about it. The new script, what you're going to tell ourselves going forward is, that mistake defines who I was at that specific time, okay? Whoever you are, that was who you are in the past at that specific time. It doesn't define who you are. Secondly, instead of saying, I should have known better, you can say, I made the best decision I could with the maturity that I had at the time, with the emotional state that I had at the time, and the information that I possessed back then. So this allows you to grow. Okay, it allows you to grow, to evolve, to move beyond that, instead of dwelling and just stagnating in that particular thing. Last one, I am broken for doing that. I am bad for doing that. I am less because I did that. The new thing we can tell ourselves is, I feel remorse about that, whatever happened, because my values have grown since then. Okay? Like, a lot of mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes in life. It's part of being human. But we also grow as part of being human beings. And it's not fair for us to keep ourselves in that headspace of, I'm broken, like I'm a bad person, I'm a loser. You know the kind of negative thoughts that we tend to dwell on at that point. So we need to allow ourselves to grow, and one way we can do this is by redefining these things, okay? Yeah. And the fact that you do feel bad about a past mistake is proof that you're no longer the person who made it. Remorse is just growth looking backward, okay? So I hope that this has been of help to you. Please do try at least one or two of them. And if you did get any kind of value from this video, please do me one favor. Just like the video and leave a comment down below. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully. Okay, Khop Khun Kha!